Great, cool. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Regen Network community update on this Wednesday, March 16th. St. Patty's Day happening tomorrow. I was already on Osmosis this morning and they're all festive. They've got their Osmington all decked out for St. Patty's Day. So just wanted to, we're green, so I figure that that's relevant to this call. All right, so we'll just jump right in. So as most of you know, and most of you participated that are on this call right now, thank you so much for that. Mainnet was successfully upgraded to Ledger 3.0, and it was just an amazing upgrade. Like seriously, I'm always amazed by the regen validator set. Personally, I validate on other chains, and regen always kind of takes the cake when it comes to upgrades. This one happened in 12 minutes. I think we had something like 50% of the voting power online within just a couple of minutes. And then there was just a couple of stragglers. That's probably due to running Cosmovisor and performing the backup at the time of the upgrade, which that's fine. 12 minutes is great. I think we were all kind of thinking maybe it would take about a half an hour. So that was completely blown out of the water. So yeah, thank you to the validators that are joining right now and that are watching this in the future. You guys rock. So excuse me. Yeah, so with that being said, this slide is kind of a repeat of what we talked about 2 weeks ago, but since this is now implemented, I kind of wanted a refresher, especially for myself since I was actually not around 2 weeks ago. So yeah, Ryan, do you wanna start going into this?
Sure. Yeah. So as Dad mentioned, we talked about this last time, and this is now live on Mainnet and Redwood. Basket functionality essentially allows people to pool together different types of eco credits that are not normally fungible with each other into a basket to make them fungible. And this uses the bank module built in the SDK, or makes these, yeah, the tokens that are created by putting eco credits into the basket leverage the bank module, which allows them to be transferable over IBC, which is going to allow for eco credits to be represented as basket tokens that can be then put into liquidity pools on Osmosis, for example. The idea with baskets is that they can then be redeemed at a later point in time, or the eco credits in the baskets can be redeemed at a later point in time so that you can continue to use them with the eco credit functionality that allows you to retire them and essentially consume it as an offset. And the initial implementation is a minimum viable implementation. We have other ideas in terms of how we want to improve the basket functionality in the future. And you can see the full version of that at the RFC in the Regen Ledger, which here is the link to the proposal, which includes that link to the RFC if you're interested in digging in deeper.
Cool, yeah. Just real quick, just for clarification, I've gotten this question a couple of times. So since they are standard bank module tokens, um, IBC compatible, yes, but they don't have anything to do with governance and you can't stake them. Is that correct?
Correct. At the moment, there's no additional use for them other than them being fully fungible and then later redeemed for eco credits that are in the basket. But in the future, there might be opportunities to use it for as collateral or something. But in
Cool.
this current implementation, this is just setting the foundation for uh, fungible eco credits by
That's
pooling
great.
them together in a basket.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so let's just keep moving. So again, like I mentioned in the beginning of the call, our engineering team is just like running like crazy. So we're already looking to Regen Ledger 4.0 and yeah, go ahead and give us an update on that if you'd like, Ryan.
Yeah, and just a little context here too. A lot of this work was already started prior to 3.0, but we actually decided to move forward with basket functionality in 3.0. So we have been working on this since 2.0. So there's a lot here, but going down the list, looking at adding marketplace functionality to the EcoCredit module. This initial implementation will allow for you to create sell orders for EcoCredits and then to perform direct buy orders against those sell orders. And then when a sell order is created, the eco credits are held in escrow, and then you could cancel the sell order and redeem those credits. Um, this is kind of the idea of implementing some basic storefront functionality, is what we're calling it. It's not a full DEX. And we do have ideas for creating filtered buy orders so that you could buy from multiple sell orders, but this initial implementation will just be direct buy orders against a single sell order. And then also we're adding project support to the core functionality EcoCredit module. Um, the projects are basically representing methodology developers. And so an issuer listed within a credit class will be able to create a project for that credit class. And then when you're issuing batches, you're going to provide a project ID, and then all the information about the project, such as the location, will be associated with the project, and then therefore associated with the batch. Also, we're adding the data module to the stable app configuration. We've made a few updates to the data module. Previously, it supported anchoring and signing data. We're updating the terminology there to attesting to the validity of data rather than signing, just not to cause any confusion with signing transactions. So you'll be able to anchor and attest to the validity of data. And then also we're adding the ability to define a resolver and then register data with that resolver. So excited to have that in the stable app configuration and available to users. And also on that note, we're trying to set up the metadata fields in the EcoCredit module so that they can be used to support IRIs, and that will link to data using the data module. And then in addition to that, we're migrating EcoCredit and data module to a new storage model. This is more underlying architecture updates. And then updating Regen Ledger to the latest version of Cosmos SDK, version 0.46. There's an alpha release for that. A beta is around the corner. And so we're working with the beta in which will include adding the group module, which was originally developed in the Regen Ledger repository, and then updates to the governance module. Just as a refresher, the group module allows for the creation and management of on-chain multi-sig accounts and enables voting for message execution based on configurable decision policies. Our docs are still available on the docs.regen.network website around the group module, but there's been a few changes there, so we'll be updating that here soon to align with the SDK module, probably just pointing to the SDK docs with the updated documentation. Also in the SDK 4.6 release, there's updates to the Gov module. This is going to allow for the ability to execute messages via governance proposals. So basically, we're refactoring how parameter change proposals are created, as well as adding support for the execution of individual messages via governance proposals. So this is exciting work. It also includes v4.6 also includes transaction tips. Users will be able to add transaction tips that are executed on another chain. So for example, if you're a user and you want to execute a message on Cosmos Hub, you could transfer regen tokens to Cosmos Hub, and you'll be able to use those regen tokens to help cover the transaction fees. But yeah, that is Regen Ledger 4.0, and we're
Wow.
moving pretty fast on getting these updates because, as I mentioned, a lot of this was already started. But we're hoping to cut a release maybe in like a month is a good estimate at the moment. So another big update will be around the corner.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. That's really exciting. And yeah, I had no idea that all this stuff was being added for 4.6 too. So that's really cool to see. So best of both worlds going on. So as far as Hambach is concerned, is there going to be a pre-release kind of beta version of 4.0 that we'll be able to have on Hambach ahead of time, or are we just kind of waiting until that release is cut in a month or so?
That's a good question. Since there's so many different parts moving in 4.0, it's a little bit hard to tag a release at the moment that would be a fully working release that could be put on
Okay,
Hambach, but we are trying to make that possible. So we are holding off on a couple updates to potentially get a Hambach release up ahead of time, but more than likely, Regen Ledger 4.0 release will include the CosmWasm implementation for the experimental build, and we might end up waiting for like a more solid beta rather than trying to cut it too early while
cool.
things are moving around right now. So
Awesome.
that's to be determined, but we are taking that into consideration because we have some grant recipients that are wanting to use CosmWasm or
Right.
experiment with CosmWasm. So we're trying to get something set up so that we can have a release for Hambach, but it's a little bit hard to determine at the moment how that's going to work.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. That's great. Um, Yeah, there's actually a question. Paul wanted you to elaborate a little bit on the tips. So he said for transaction tips, does that require validators to accept multiple tokens for fees? So you could only tip with regen if a validator on that chain accepts it?
Um, I am gonna defer that question for the moment and take a look at it because I haven't been working on the SDK side in terms of implementing
Right.
transaction tips. So I could try to provide an answer, but I think it might be better just to hold off. And I'll follow up with you, Paul, and maybe share that in the Discord channel.
Cool.
But that's not work that I've been working on, so I'm not entirely sure how it works under the hood.
Yeah, totally. Appreciate that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to actually see what that entails too. Being that I'm a validator. Okay, let's see. Let's keep moving then. I think if I can, there we go. So yeah, same thing with Redwood. So Redwood has already been upgraded to 3.0, and basically that's how long has that been running? About 2 weeks now, I think. So all of the functionality that Ryan talked about for version 3.0 is already live and running on Redwood. So if you just want to play around with it, of course you're more than welcome to do that on Redwood. As mentioned, Hambach is kind of in a state of limbo right now, but go ahead and just use Redwood and you should have all the functionality that you're looking for as far as 3.0 is concerned. Commonwealth discussions. So this is something that I kind of neglect to talk about sometimes, but really like with our governance process, we're kind of working on some more concrete guidelines as far as governance process is concerned. I've already written about it in the past, and I'm currently writing up a blog post for how to kind of gain access to the community pool, which also mentions these guidelines. And one of them being to have a Commonwealth forum discussion. So before you go and submit a proposal on chain, it's kind of nice to get like this so-called soft consensus in the forum, which will help you kind of refine your proposal in a way that's, betters your chances of it passing. So a couple of those being, well, at least one that's regarding proposals is the shortening of the governance window from 14 days down to, I've seen 7 days. So please jump in there and voice your opinion if you want. I know that there's definitely some people want to get it going anyways. So I know that that's something that people want to have happen. So if you don't want that to happen, or if you do, please go ahead and chime in on that post there. It's the top post on our Commonwealth forum. Will from the foundation made a really great post about 2 weeks ago. I believe he spoke about it on the last call. Again, I wasn't here, so I'm not sure, but I know that I think he wanted to. If he didn't, and even if he did, please go and check out that post. He put a lot of time into it, and really exciting stuff. So just kind of a tokenomics upgrade from the original tokenomics paper. Of course, in crypto, things change all the time, and it's been quite some time since they wrote that, and things have changed quite a bit. So specifically kind of liquidity provisioning is something that's just really taken, center stage at this point. So go ahead and check that out. That's live up on the Commonwealth forum. Again, this is just kind of a repeat from last week. I did want to talk about it just shortly, and really I just wanted to point out that Gregory is currently talking about this on the Osmosis Twitter Spaces. So I hope some of you were able to catch the beginning of that. But basically, we're working with the Osmosis community, and some members on there. We're working on a proposal for liquidity mining incentives for the NCT that we're basically have going now as far as the ledger is concerned. That's kind of what 3.0 was all about. Of course, co-working with Toucan on all of that. And as the slide says, Prop 9 was setting the groundwork for that. Of course, we already know that that passed, and that's going. So if you're interested in participating in the LP launch, please contact us. Probably best to get a hold of me on Discord, and then I can forward it to the relevant team on that. And again, that Twitter link there is just to the spaces that's currently happening. Let's see, do we have, oh, thank you for that, Ryan. If you guys want to check out the chat, Ryan put something up there for us. Regenerati News Hour. So we've haven't been that great at doing it every Thursday, but we've been trying to just get into this cadence of making it happen every Thursday on Twitter. Last week they spoke about NFTs and crypto, climate, Regen Ledger 3.0 update, and a bunch of other stuff. This week, I believe I put TBD because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure, I'm guessing we'll be talking about NCT some more and how that relates to osmosis. So Regen _ network is our little Twitter account there. So please check that out. How are we doing on time? Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and finish this up with our Regen market and liquidity report. You can see that there. I just updated that this morning. So yeah, it looks like we're still rocking it, which is good. Again, like always, here's the information for Redwood and Hambach. Please use Redwood, as Hambach is currently just kind of on halt until we get some cooler experimental builds going with all the awesome stuff that Ryan was talking about. I'm really I'm really excited to see what these tips are all about. So I'm going to read all about it, that link that you posted there, Ryan. Yeah, so that's really it. I didn't update this slide, so of course our next call won't be on today. It'll be 2 weeks from today. There's a link there to the calendar, the community calendar, that I've been trying to be better at about updating. So yeah, that's about it. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. But before we leave, if there's any questions that we can answer, I know that the chat is going off, but this is your time to chime in if you have any questions that we can answer for you.
Yeah, Dan, I think you mentioned you're going to write a blog about the community staking pools or staking DAO. Can you share just a little bit more? You're basically just suggesting that we socialize ideas on Commonwealth first, and just are you just going to kind of outline best practices for kind of working with the community on this regards, or like, yeah, what?
Yeah, so it's not specific to the community staking DAOs as much as it is more specific to the community spend pool that we have that nobody's even
Oh,
touched at all. So yeah, so
yeah.
you know, so there's money there, like, and really, I think it's just, everybody was focused on the grants and some folks didn't receive grants, but of course there we have the community spend pool, and I think kind of there was a lack in knowledge base on how to actually gain access to that, and that's what this upcoming blog post is about.
Got it. Cool. Yeah, I think I spoke with Will some months back about some ideas around doing some facilitation in that regard, right? Like for the validator, like to kind of bridge validator developer community together a little more closely. And anyhow, I have a couple other ideas, something around Earth Day. And so yeah, maybe we can follow up directly on yeah, how to socialize those. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't have it right here in front of me, but if I'm remembering correctly, there was over 1 million regen in the community pool, I believe. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. So yeah, don't take my word for it. Wait for the blog. You can also check out, like, see what's actually there. I think there's a command. It's something TX community spend pool. I can get it
That's
for you if
right.
you'd like. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
cool. Anybody else?
Hey, I think you might have mentioned this, but was there a rough ETA on 4.0? Was that 1 or 2 months?
Yeah, it the list keeps expanding as things happen, because there's a lot of kind of refactoring and polishing off of our architecture. But currently, we're looking probably around 1 month until we'll have a release for 4.0. And I think that's a pretty safe bet at the moment because a lot of the functionality has been implemented. It's just a little bit hard to determine at the moment with the refactoring that's happening, because we're adding a lot of tests and we're migrating to a new storage model, and we just want to make sure that everything's well polished off. So we're giving ourselves a little bit of comfort room with that to make sure that we're implementing everything securely and it's all functioning. So I think right now at the moment I'm going to say 1 month, but that could be, yeah, it could be extended.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
gonna.
working really hard to keep our engineers like focused in on the next release and not trying to add functionality or other things that aren't necessary for the release. So I think we're in a good state at the moment, and I think 1 month is a fair estimate. But what were you going to say, Dan?
I was just gonna say, our engineers are really excited about doing this work, and they're like perfectionists. So it's just sometimes yeah, it takes a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're like, no, stay on track. This is what we're doing. I know you were excited to do other stuff too, but let's just knock this out, and then we can go on with releases. So yeah.
Yeah, as things go.
Right. Yeah. No, it's really cool. You guys did a fantastic job with this last release. Just really just banged it out, and yeah, rocked it. So excited to see what's coming next. Yeah, so we've got about 3 more minutes if there's any other questions. All right. Well, I guess I will give you back your 2.5 minutes that we have remaining. And yeah, thank you to everyone who showed up. Thank you so much, Ryan, for helping me out this week. And yeah, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. So have a wonderful day, and have fun on St. Patty's Day if that's your thing. So, bye everyone.
Thanks again, all. See you.
Thanks, everyone.